Do you know what's the most popular topic on this supply chain channel, on my supply chain blog, that I get on LinkedIn, that I get everywhere? KPIs. That's what we're going to talk about this week. So what is it with KPIs? I get more questions on this channel, on my blog, on LinkedIn about KPIs more than anything else. And anything that I post on KPIs seems to get a lot of attention. I think for a couple of reasons. One, people recognize that KPIs are really important in any business function. Why are they important? Because they're a critical measure towards a goal. It shows us how we're performing towards a goal. I'm trying to lose weight at the moment. So, my KPI is my weight in kilos and I have a set goal and I'm tracking that KPI. Your KPI in your business, might be around warehousing or procurement or anything, but you're tracking your KPIs towards a specific goal. So they're really, really important. The other reason why people ask so many questions about KPIs is they want to know what good looks like. And they want to know what's the right KPI for this particular function, and what's the right performance level. So I just want to summarize the topic of KPIs this week. And what I'm going to do, I've been doing this for the last couple of weeks for a reason. I'm actually going to put a link down below to a recorded webinar that you can watch all around the topic of KPIs. So you can have an hour of it. I don't want to repeat all of that here on the channel. I just want to put a couple of key points for you. So why do we have KPIs? Because it's a critical way of measuring performance towards a goal. So we need to have them. The next question then people ask is, how many should I have? My standard answer is 3 or 4. That's enough. I have seen companies have literally, 200-page folders full of KPIs. Now that might be okay. When I say 3 or 4, I mean 3 or 4 at each level in the organization. So if you're reporting supply chain KPIs to the MD, probably 3 or 4 is enough. For the warehouse manager, 3 or 4 really specific warehouse KPIs are probably enough. So there's lots of videos on the channel about KPIs, and I often talk about this sort of pyramid structure where you have 3 or 4 at each level in the organization and they're tailored to the needs of that level of management. So 3 or 4. What are the 2 main things that we're measuring with our KPIs? Well, there's 2 things. There's cost and service. And then people say, of course, what's the right thing to measure? It's going to vary a lot depending on your business, on the function that you're looking after. But generally, around the cost KPIs, I would be looking at things like cost per unit throughput. So if I'm looking at a warehouse, for example, what's my cost per carton, cost per pallet, cost per order processed through the facility? That's not a bad KPI for the whole supply chain. What's our cost per order, taking account of all of our supply chain costs? What's our cost per order, cost per ton, cost per pallet, whatever the unit is that you're dealing with. So cost is always a critical area. The other key area is service, of course. We've got to balance cost and service. So when I ask people, give me an example of KPI, they always come up with one. What would you come up with? What's your favorite KPI? Comment down below. One of the favorites is always DIFOT, D-I-F-O-T, and that means delivery in full on time. What does that actually mean? It means that if the customer ordered 10 items and they were expected to be delivered by midday today, 10 items turned up before midday. So they were delivered in full, all 10, on time. And that's a really classic KPI. But do you know, it actually should be measured in 2 ways. Firstly, it should be the in full measurement, and then it should be the on time measurement. Try and measure those separately because they are 2 quite different things that you should be measuring. If you want the ultimate KPI, and I think we talk about this one on the webinar, but there's definitely a video about it on the channel, look for the video on the probability of a perfect order. That has got to be the best KPI I've ever come across. So Louis, my editor, make sure we put a link to perfect order KPI on this video. So there we go. Very quick summary of KPIs. Why do we have them? We've got to have them to measure towards performance. They've got to be tailored to the specific function in our business and for our business. I mean, you'd be amazed at some of the questions I get. What's the good KPI for this? Big tip on KPIs. Work out what the outcome is that you want, and then that's the thing that you should measure. So, some of the more obscure ones I get might be things like I want to measure raw materials wastage or something. What's the right KPI? Well, there you go. Wastage per ton of finished product, or wastage per day, or something like that. KPIs should be measuring a very specific thing that you want to improve on. How many to have? 3 or 4 probably at each different level. Generally, you're looking at cost and service. If you want to find out more about KPIs, there's loads of videos on this channel, but I would urge you to go and watch the replay of our recent webinar on KPIs, and I'll put that link down below. So thanks for watching. If you're really serious about supply chain, you've got to be serious about KPIs. If you have any questions on KPIs, do comment down below. I may regret asking that because it's something that I get lots and lots of questions on. And also, if there's any particular topics you'd like to hear more about on the channel, do comment down below. Thanks for watching. See you next week.